Hi, I'm Pam, and this is my monthly update video letting you know everything that I was up to in the month of June. So I'm recording this video a little bit late, and it's also going to be a little bit light on content. I've kind of just been enjoying the summer, haven't been playing quite as many video games as normal, just been doing a lot of climbing, visiting friends, things like that. There were a couple new episodes of Point and Drink Adventure out in June. One sort of normal one, and then one where Michelle and I were both here, so we got to record together, which is always fun. We talked about some good drinks and, of course, all the movies we've been watching and games we've been playing, things like that. In terms of pickups, I don't really have any. In fact, I'm really considering selling 90% of my collection, but that just seems like so much effort. But yeah, no pickups for today, so I'm going to go right into the games that I've been beating. The first game that I played and completed was Haiku the Robot, which is a sort of shorter and concise Metroidvania where you play a little robot. I think he's a toaster, sort of going through the world, getting new abilities, exploring the usual Metroidvania stuff. My friend Captain Drachma recommended it to me, and it had been kind of on my radar for a little bit. But I didn't know why I hadn't played it, and then I realized it's because it's not on Xbox, it's only on PC and Switch. But since I was flying to France at the end of May, I thought I would start it up on my Switch. And as much as I don't like playing in handheld mode and found it much more difficult than playing with a Pro controller, I did start getting into the game, and then when I got back home and was able to play on my TV, I kind of just got hooked right in and kind of played until I finished it. It was probably about a 10-ish hour game. It's very similar to Hollow Knight in terms of the abilities that you're getting, even things like how you collect the currency and how you spend it and you can bank it, things like that. Overall, it was just a really charming game. The graphics are a little bit more on the primitive, kind of like Game Boy-ish side, which isn't my absolute favorite of aesthetics, but it works for the game and it plays just really smoothly. It's fun to control. Nothing is overly difficult. There was a couple bosses that took me a few attempts to try, mostly while I was playing in handheld mode, but nothing that was, overly difficult. The map was fairly intuitive in terms of where you're going and where your abilities could be used next. But yeah, I really liked Haiku the Robot. If you're looking for a Metroidvania that's cute and not overly long, then I would definitely recommend it. And the next thing I played is House of Ashes, and this is part of the Dark Pictures anthology by Supermassive, who did like Until Dawn and The Quarry. I believe the Dark Pictures anthology, at least season 1, is 4 games total. This was the third one, though it's the last one that I personally played. I played all this through co-op. You can play just sort of each person picks certain characters and they control that character as you go, so that's the way I played it. And this one takes place during the Iraq War, and you're playing as a CIA field agent and then some army people, military people, and they find themselves fallen into like a big cave, and there are vampires in the cave, or monsters, but very vampire-like monsters in the cave. And you just go through having to make decisions and hopefully keep them all alive or get them killed if you find them annoying. And this was actually, of the Dark Pictures games, my favorite one. I found that a lot of the characters and the story and the writing and some of them were kind of just like, they sort of got better as they went. I found the first one was my least favorite. The fourth one I liked, although I played it with a bunch of friends, which made it more fun. This one, I really actually liked the story. I liked the sort of lore and monster stuff that they went into. It was fun to play it co-op, and yeah, if you like those kind of sort of choose your own adventure-y games, this is the best of the Dark Pictures anthology, though I still don't think it quite matches up to the fuller release like Until Dawn and The Quarry. But overall, I really enjoyed my time with it. And I talked about this in my last update video, but my Wednesday co-op group, we finally beat Redfall. It didn't get any better than it appeared to be in the last few times I talked about it. It's just a very mediocre, unpolished game. Once we got to the end, like the end boss was particularly disappointing. It wasn't even a boss fight. You didn't even shoot at the boss. You just shot other things, and then all of a sudden they were dead and the story was over. So it was just a fairly poorly thought out game. I still found that like shooting things felt okay. I liked that you could run any distance. You didn't run out of stamina. That was nice. But otherwise, it was just story-wise, the fact that there weren't real cutscenes and just more like still images while people talked over them. And the AI was just incredibly, incredibly stupid. And the missions were very, very repetitive. Yeah, Redfall, still not a good game, but I did beat it. Another one I got through in June was Planet of Lana, and this came out on Game Pass, and I think it has maybe some of the same developers, or maybe it's just because it's so heavily inspired by Limbo and Inside. Like it's one of those sort of cinematic platformers with some puzzle solving and things like that. You play a child of some kind, and almost like War of the World like tripod monsters, except they've got more than 3 legs, come and steal all the people from your village, and I guess you have to go find them. You find a little weird shadowy animal companion that will come along with you and help you solve puzzles and navigate the environment. And I just found that Planet of Lana was pretty dull overall. Like, it has a much more brighter, more colorful game than Limbo and Inside. Like, it's got beautiful, like, blue skies and green fields, which was a nice little change. But the gameplay was just your basic hide in some bushes while the monster comes, run by it. You have to direct your little guy to go and, like, be a distraction or hit a lever or get a rope down. And it all just felt like I've done this so many times before, and the new sort of wrapper on it didn't really make it any more interesting. I also found that having that little companion, as things got more difficult and there was a lot more hiding from monsters so you don't die, it felt like I was on a giant escort quest where I had to keep this thing alive, because if it gets caught, you die too. So that I really don't like escort quests. But it was just like, it was a pretty game, but it was not that interesting. It was only about 4-ish hours long. I'm actually kind of surprised I finished it, because after an hour and a half, I was like, I don't really love this, but it's fine. It's dull. Also, the controls aren't that good. It feels a little sluggish in terms of jumping and things, which kind of makes sense given your character, but again, just, I don't know, there are better cinematic platformers out there. And lastly, and this is a game I put down as retired, although I think it's getting unretired tonight, is Jumanji the game. It seems like Wednesday co-op night is, it's real slim pickings. Like, we're really looking for good 4-player online co-op Xbox games, and I'm getting to the point where I feel like we may have played them all. So we got Jumanji, which, first of all, I didn't get my copy on sale, and it cost $40, which is absolute highway robbery, because this game is a piece of shit. It is a 4-player co-op shooter. You go through these levels, you find statues and collectibles, you get Jumanji pieces, you open up the next level, but it just like run through the level, shoot some guys, collect some things, and then the next thing is you have to power up this obelisk by standing on it while you shoot things, and it just flips back and forth between those two. The environments change slightly, but that's it. There's no sense of feedback when you're taking damage from enemies, so I often found like I was surprised every time I died. The shooting doesn't feel particularly good. It's really buggy. I'm an invert Y player, so I could go in and invert Y, so at least it let me do that. However, anytime I died or anytime we loaded into a new level, it reset me back to non-inverted, and I had to go back into the settings every single time. So it was just a garbage game. I actually tried to get a refund. I was not allowed to because I played about an hour of it. But apparently, we're almost done. So I think we're actually gonna finish the game just so that we can say we beat it. But I doubt I'll have anything else to say about it, so figured I would just talk about it now. The game that I've actually been spending most of my time with this month is Afterimage, which is a gigantic Metroidvania. I do really like that, but I will talk about it next month because I'm pretty close to the end. Well, I'm actually at the end. I've seen the final boss. I just want to do more stuff first. But yeah, that's what I've been playing this month. This is a short little update. Leave me a comment, let me know what you've been playing. If you have any interesting pickups to make up for my absolute lack of them. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.